How you going, sir?
I'm doing all right this morning.
Yeah, you're in Melbourne. Apparently, according to some of the internet babble, that your show was pretty good last night.
Yeah, we had a good one last night. It felt good to be on stage, and everything finally clicked, and it was good.
Now you say finally.
Finally clicked, yeah.
What was going on before that?
It's been the cursed tour so far. We came
Really?
here, and I lost my voice, and we had to postpone a couple shows in Sydney, which I hate doing, but I really had no choice. Then when we got here, we were plagued by one of those nights where everything I touch on stage doesn't work.
Oh, no.
Have you heard those?
Resulted in a tantrum, but we're over that now.
Do you like having a bit of a tantrum on stage sometimes? I mean, obviously.
It's not. When you're on a tour, you shoot for having every night be the best night of the tour.
Mm.
Occasionally, you'll come across odds that you can't beat, and this was one of those nights where my monitors don't work, my guitar doesn't work, keyboards don't work, lights aren't working. Now I'm pissed off, and it just kind of spirals down from there.
It's pretty frustrating, Trent, I have to say. But one thing I'm particularly interested in is you said your throat has gone. You got any good remedies for us for sore throat, losing your voice?
Basically resting and not doing interviews.
No special drinks?
I've got a whole variety of teas and lozengers and weird kind of blue velvet masks that pump some kind of weird gas into my throat and all kinds of things.
Good work.
Hey, that's
what I wanted.
A little Frank Booth action backstage.
And do you find that actually helps, or is it more just kind of food and sleep that helps?
It's basically resting. And I think what happened this time is I'd gotten sick before the tour started, and flying from the north to south hemisphere and whatever. It's one of those things that's hard to put your finger on. But.
Yeah.
I have this problem that sometimes when I'm around electrical equipment, it's almost like I have this electrical field that just shorts stuff out and things stop working.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenon that some people do talk about. Do you reckon that maybe some of that happened to you?
That couldn't be possible because I live my life surrounded by electronic gadgets, so I don't think that's the case this time.
Well, let's talk about the recording of Year Zero, because I was looking on your website and I downloaded a bunch of the sound files, and there's some awesome stuff on there and some really crazy sounding guitar sounds. But can you tell us, for people who are sitting at home and they've got their little sort of beat up Squier, Stratocaster, or Samick Les Paul plugged into their dad's computer, how do you get some of those nutty sounds that are on the album?
Well, I think something that's really cool. It's a result of technology today is that it's the things that you need, the tools are out there and they're affordable and they're not in the domain of just the rich and privileged. Pretty much that whole record was recorded just on a laptop with a variety of software, a lot of it just free plugins that you can get.
Right.
And it really is a matter of just applying yourself. I often sit around with my older friends complaining about how easy it is to make really cool sounds with the technology and tools that are out readily available today compared to how we had to do it, back when I was a kid.
But do you miss those days, though? Do you miss those days of when you really had to work super hard to achieve a sound and when you finally get your end product, you'd be so proud of it, whereas now you'd be kind of going, wow, that was pretty easy. Do you miss those days?
It's just different tools. Back then, the tools, the first album I did, I had a one cheap sampler and a mini Moog, and that was pretty much it. And I knew how to milk every possible sound out of that limited stuff I had because that's all the money I had and that's all there was.
We've got a couple of the tracks here. How do you get this sound?
That is sweet.
That sound.
Is there a plugin?
That's a number of guitars.
How many?
Just playing with it's probably about 4 multi-track, just strumming as fast as I can with every string tuned to the same note with a tremolo bar on it.
Wow,
awesome! So obviously there's that sort of live instrumentation. You're playing the guitars. There's also some other live instrumentation that we found on these very generously downloaded sound files.
Yeah, and I was reading. Did you used to play the tuba and the saxophone yourself?
And is this you?
That's not me.
Oh,
but
no.
I did play those instruments.
But you do know how to play tuba. Because is there a tuba on there?
What you're playing right now is a semi-failed experiment. In capital G, I was going to have kind of a brass band take over at one point. And I found a guy in L.A. that did an arrangement, and we went in the studio and laid down some stuff kind of quickly just to see what it sounded like. And it was one of those things that was either going to be great or the worst idea I've ever had. It turned out to be the latter. So we just had a little snippet of that kind of embellish the riff. But that stuff isn't me. But I can and do play saxophone these days.
Maybe you should have a saxophone side of stage just in case the guitar and the keyboard go down.
You can always pick it up.
Hey,
there would be some way that would screw up. The reed would be broken. Break that.
Let's have a listen to Off Year Zero. Here's Capital G on Triple J with Miff Jane, the Doctor, and Trent.